When Andy Griffith, the beloved television icon, passed away in 2012, fans and the world were surprised to discover that there would be no burial, funeral, or service for people to attend. Griffith had meticulously handled all the arrangements for his remains. Everything unfolded within a mere 4 hours after he took his last breath. The events that followed his passing were as remarkable as his illustrious career. Let's delve into why Andy Griffith chose not to have a burial service for himself, opting instead for immediate burial upon his death. Shortly after taking his last breath, Griffith's body was promptly laid to rest in an unmarked grave on the island he called home. By 11:30 a.m., a mere 4 1/2 hours after his passing, the legendary actor found his final resting place, surrounded only by a small group of close friends. This swift transition from death to burial sharply contrasts with the traditional customs observed in many cultures. Following a death, a customary period of mourning usually ensues, providing family and friends with ample time to cope with their grief, find closure, and offer their last respects. In the United States, a standard funeral typically takes place within 1 to 2 weeks of the person's passing. The deceased's body is prepared by a mortician, placed in a casket, and presented at a memorial service. Loved ones gather to share eulogies, prayers, and seek solace through communal mourning. This extended timeline allows distant relatives to make travel arrangements and attend the funeral. Similar rituals are observed across various cultures and faiths. In traditional Jewish practices, burial must occur within 24 hours of death to honor the deceased, followed immediately by the week-long sitting Shiva, where family and community collectively process their loss. In several Asian regions, death is viewed as a transition rather than a finality. To facilitate a smooth journey to the afterlife, intricate rituals are conducted. It's common for the body to be kept at home for several days, providing an opportunity for friends and family to visit, offer prayers, and prepare the departed for the next phase of their journey. In Islam, burials happen swiftly, often within hours of the person's passing, but friends and family come together for 3 days of visits and offer condolences to those grieving. Other faiths and cultures incorporate additional practices such as fasting, gift-giving, providing meals for mourners, and more to support loved ones in their time of grief. Andy Griffith's burial sharply contrasts with traditions that view mourning as a communal process. The swiftness of it left many, including those close to him, puzzled. His daughter Dixie couldn't make it to Roanoke Island in time for the impromptu graveside service. The seemingly hasty manner in which Andy Griffith was laid to rest aligns precisely with his wishes and the circumstances of his death. Griffith passed away due to a heart attack, as indicated on his death certificate. His health struggles had been persistent over the years, marked by various serious illnesses. In 1983, Griffith faced a debilitating disease known as Guillain-Barré syndrome, which left him paralyzed and bedridden for a daunting 7-month stretch. Simple tasks like walking or sitting up became monumental challenges, yet Griffith persevered, undergoing intensive rehabilitation to gradually regain mobility and muscle strength. Despite the harrowing nature of the experience, he not only returned to his feet, but fully recovered. The trajectory of health challenges continued in the subsequent years. In the 1990s, Griffith confronted hypertension and its associated side effects. Then, at the age of 74 in 2000, he underwent a life-saving quadruple heart bypass surgery after being diagnosed with partial coronary artery disease. Despite doctors' warnings about significant risks for older patients, Griffith defied the odds, enduring a complex 7-hour open-heart procedure and surprising many by bouncing back stronger than ever. This episode stood as a testament to his unwavering resolve and inner strength. However, health issues resurfaced in 2007 when Griffith required hip surgery following a fall. Once again, he demonstrated resilience, recovering well from the setback. Throughout these challenges, Griffith remained dedicated to his beloved projects and pastimes, including his work on Matlock TV movies. Even in his late 80s, he continued to embrace life, contributing to charitable causes such as the Andy Griffith Museum. His final health challenge arose in 2012 when, at the age of 86, he sadly passed away after suffering cardiac arrest. The swift and almost immediate burial of Andy Griffith on July 3, 2012, at approximately 7 a.m. on his family estate on Roanoke Island, North Carolina, marked a profound moment in the legacy of the iconic actor. The events that unfolded in the ensuing hours after his passing added another layer of significance to his departure from the world. Within a mere 4 hours of taking his last breath, Griffith's remains found their resting place on the island he called home, adjacent to his private residence. A quiet and unassuming graveside service took place by 11:30 a.m., securing the legendary actor in an unmarked plot. The impromptu ceremony saw only a select few of Andy's closest local friends in attendance, as the short notice limited the number of participants. Unfortunately, even his daughter Dixie was unable to make arrangements to be present and pay her final respects. In subsequent discussions, Dixie affirmed that the brevity of the proceedings aligned with her father's explicit wishes. The unexpectedly swift timeline, defying the customary rituals associated with the passing of a celebrated performer, intentionally excluded public memorials, tearful speeches, or opportunities for fans to collectively mourn Griffith's death. This deliberate choice was no accident. Rather, it was the outcome of Griffith's meticulous planning to sidestep the potential media spectacle that often accompanies the death of a beloved figure. It was clear that he desired a departure from the typical media spectacle that often surrounds the deaths of celebrities. The last thing he wanted was a swarm of press coverage and reporters converging on his home. Nor did he wish for helicopters buzzing overhead or hordes of onlookers trying to catch a glimpse of his casket. To avoid such intrusions, he made a specific and intimate request. He wanted a small group of his most trusted friends to promptly bury him after his death. This decision was driven by a desire for dignity and privacy, ensuring that he could exit the world on his own terms. By opting for an immediate burial, Griffith aimed to preempt the intrusion of the pesky paparazzi, preventing them from storming Roanoke Island in an attempt to capture images of his remains. It was a deliberate move to safeguard the solemnity of the moment and shield it from the prying eyes of the media. In ensuring that Andy Griffith's final wishes were honored, the residents of Dare County actively participated to maintain the privacy he sought. The sheriff's office played a pivotal role in implementing Griffith's instructions. They grounded helicopters over the island and effectively kept camera crews at a considerable distance from his estate. The urgency of the short time frame allotted for the burial meant that only a select few of Andy's closest local friends could attend the impromptu service. Unfortunately, even with the concerted efforts to preserve the intimate nature of the event, his only surviving child, Dixie Griffith, couldn't make it in time. According to Dixie, her father was resolute in his desire to avoid any semblance of a media circus surrounding his funeral. This sentiment reflected Andy Griffith's character as a notably humble man who consistently shied away from the limelight. Dixie Griffith has shared poignant insights into her last conversation with her father. The iconic television star had 2 children. Sadly, his son, Samuel Griffith Jr., passed away in 1996. Dixie, now 61, opened up about her final phone call with her father in a conversation with author Daniel DeVries for his book Andy and Don, The Making of a Friendship and a Classic American, published in 2015. In this heartfelt discussion, Dixie recounted how the tone of the conversation felt significant, as if Andy was trying to impart invaluable wisdom to her, a message to carry forward in her life. The context of the call led Dixie to sense deep down that it would be their final exchange. In those precious moments, Andy expressed his love for her, and she reciprocated the sentiment, creating a poignant conclusion to their heartfelt conversation. The rapid pace at which the news of Andy Griffith's death and subsequent burial unfolded may have appeared unusually swift to many, but it was a meticulously planned process that the legendary actor had organized well in advance. Griffith's spokesperson revealed that the prompt makeshift service and immediate burial were in accordance with his and his family's wishes. This prearranged decision was a departure from the more conventional funeral customs that typically allow for a more extended period between death and burial, providing friends and family with the opportunity to visit and pay their respects. The quick turnaround in Griffith's case prompted Larry F. Stegall, the executive director of the state's Funeral Directors Association, to note that in his 32 years of experience, such a rapid burial was not a common occurrence. Funeral customs often recognize the importance of allowing time for mourning and remembrance, emphasizing the cultural significance of paying respects to the departed. Griffith's wife, Cindy, offered insight into Andy's mindset, describing him as a man of exceptionally strong Christian faith who had long been prepared for the day when he would be called home to reunite with his Maker. This perspective sheds light on Griffith's intentional approach to his final arrangements, driven by his faith and a desire for a private and respectful farewell. The outpouring of touching tributes to Andy Griffith following his passing in 2012 reflected the deep impact he had on those he worked with and mentored. Former co-stars, collaborators, and individuals he guided in the industry all shared heartfelt sentiments. Ron Howard, who portrayed Griffith's on-screen son on The Andy Griffith Show, attributed Griffith with cultivating joyful professionalism and providing a leading example during their years of collaboration. Don Knotts, famed for his role as the bumbling Deputy Barney F., went beyond being a co-star, describing Griffith as both a friend and a lifelong teacher. Knotts praised Griffith's generosity and guidance, highlighting the profound influence he had on those around him. Other co-stars joined in these warm reminiscences, emphasizing Griffith's humor and humanity both on and off the screen. In their memorials, it became evident that Griffith's celebrity status surpassed the confines of entertainment circles, resonating deeply in the lives of everyday Americans. Communities, whether rural small towns or bustling cities, saw Griffith as a symbol of a bygone era, representing simpler values. His passing carried a personal weight, even for those who had never met him, illustrating the widespread connection people felt with the man behind iconic characters like Sheriff Andy Taylor and Attorney Ben Matlock. The nationwide mourning transcended geographical boundaries, from Griffith's native North Carolina to the distant landscapes of Los Angeles, where he filmed his shows. Makeshift memorials adorned with flowers and condolence notes emerged in various locations, from his childhood home to the iconic Hollywood Walk of Fame star. The collective grief expressed by fans, spanning generations and diverse locations, testified to the profound impact Griffith's characters had on American culture. Andy Griffith's gravesite on Roanoke Island remains a private sanctuary, inaccessible to those seeking to pay their respects. This exclusivity is in line with Griffith's desire for privacy, a sentiment he maintained throughout his life and extended to his final resting place. In a departure from the final resting spots of other stars from The Andy Griffith Show, which are situated in public cemeteries, Griffith's burial site is deliberately off-limits to the public. The actor's swift and private burial, characteristic of his wishes, reflects his commitment to maintaining a sense of peace even in death. As a private individual who valued his personal life away from the public eye, Griffith's decision to have an unmarked grave on his island estate aligns with his long-standing desire for privacy. For those eager to commemorate other stars from The Andy Griffith Show, such as Don Knotts or Francis Bavier, public cemeteries offer accessible locations for paying respects. However, the headliner of the show, Andy Griffith, remains secluded in a private resting place. To uphold the privacy of Griffith's final abode, his widow, Cindy, made the decision to have his house demolished less than a year after his passing. This choice, while preserving the sanctity of Griffith's resting place, stirred differing opinions among his friends and neighbors. Ira David Smith, a producer and close friend, expressed surprise, having assumed that the property might eventually become a preserved public space. Griffith had even entertained the idea of transforming the estate into a museum in the past, a notion that, over time, faded away. Nevertheless, the legacy of Andy Griffith is commemorated in the Andy Griffith Museum in Mount Airy, North Carolina. This museum stands as a testament to Griffith's enduring impact, housing the most extensive collection of memorabilia and keepsakes dedicated to the beloved actor. Although the private resting place may not be accessible, the museum ensures that Griffith's legacy is preserved and shared with those who wish to celebrate his contributions to entertainment and culture. The question arises, why did Andy Griffith, with his profound legacy and impact on American culture, opt for a discreet private farewell instead of more conventional remembrance rituals? What led this Hollywood legend to arrange a burial that even devoted fans couldn't participate in? To understand Andy Griffith's choice of an intimate minimalist burial, we need to delve into his life. Before the trappings of fame, before he became a household name and television icon, Andy Griffith's origins were humble. Born on June 1, 1926, in the small town of Mount Airy, North Carolina, Andy Griffith's early life was that of a humble country boy. His parents, Carl and Geneva Griffith, raised him in a modest home that lacked modern conveniences like electricity and running water. Despite the challenges, this upbringing instilled in Andy a set of traditional small-town values and a straightforward approach to life. Growing up in a financially struggling household, the Griffiths, nevertheless, supported Andy's budding passion for the arts. Even as a young boy soprano, Andy showcased his vocal talents at the local Grace Moravian church. As he matured, he expanded his artistic repertoire, learning to play the trombone and delivering his first comedic monologue during his high school years. These early experiences hinted at his natural ability to captivate audiences. Andy's journey wasn't without hard work. In his youth, he took on various jobs, including fruit picking and working at a furniture store, to contribute to his family's needs. Despite the challenges, Andy harbored ambitious dreams of becoming an entertainer. His determination led him to pursue a degree in music at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. After completing his education, Andy's career gained momentum. He found success through comedic musical monologues, showcasing his talents on popular shows like The Ed Sullivan Show and other variety programs in the early 1950s. This marked the beginning of a remarkable journey for the young man from Mount Airy, who would go on to become an iconic figure in the world of entertainment. Renowned for his genuine Southern wit and moral tales, Andy Griffith, the charming storyteller, brought to the stage an authenticity deeply rooted in his own humble small-town origins. Amidst a sea of often cynical and provocative comedians, this lanky artist from North Carolina carved out a distinctive space with his folksy sincerity and dry humor. Little did he realize that this winning formula would thrust him into realms of fame beyond his wildest dreams. The rise and shine of Andy Griffith saw his widespread popularity as a monologist, catching the eye of television producer Sheldon Leonard. Leonard believed Griffith's style could seamlessly transition to the small screen. Thus, The Andy Griffith Show made its debut on CBS in 1960, propelling its star into the upper echelons of television fame virtually overnight. Set in the fictional, idyllic town of Mayberry, North Carolina, the show revolved around Sheriff Andy Taylor, played masterfully by Griffith himself. In Mayberry, Sheriff Andy Taylor ruled with an air of wisdom and morality, dispensing justice with common sense and restraint. The presence of characters like the bumbling deputy Barney Fife and the sweet, innocent Opie complemented Taylor's measured approach. In an era saturated with westerns portraying violence and lawlessness, The Andy Griffith Show emerged as a breath of fresh air. Its focus on faith, honesty, and community resonated with an American audience yearning for simpler times. An astounding 50 million viewers tuned in weekly, making it the #1 show of 1960 for 8 seasons and 249 episodes. Andy Griffith epitomized the archetypal small-town sheriff and paternal figure. His portrayal was nuanced, subtly humorous, and infused with a sense of nostalgia. As Andy Taylor imparted wisdom to his son, Opie, emphasizing the importance of doing things the right way, Griffith's portrayal resonated with authenticity. Despite the runaway success of The Andy Griffith Show, catapulting him to stardom, Griffith remained down-to-earth and humble, mirroring the character of Sheriff Taylor. Ron Howard, Griffith's co-star who portrayed Opie, characterized Andy as a mentor who led by example on the set. Despite amassing fame and fortune, Griffith steered clear of the stereotypical Hollywood lifestyle. Even after The Andy Griffith Show concluded in 1968, its legacy endured through reruns, introducing Mayberry's values to new generations. The character Andy Taylor became an enduring symbol in television history, elevating his real-life counterpart, Andy Griffith, to iconic status. However, the actor never allowed fame to overshadow his small-town origins and cherished ideals. Andy Griffith, a multifaceted talent. While Andy Griffith is primarily celebrated for his acting prowess, his talents extended across various domains of entertainment throughout his illustrious 6-decade career. While The Andy Griffith Show remains his crowning achievement, the versatile performer ventured far beyond the role of Sheriff Andy Taylor. Griffith embraced a diverse array of film, theater, and television roles, showcasing his expansive acting prowess. His innate musical talent, evident from his early days combining comedic monologues with songs, eventually blossomed into a successful side career as a gospel singer. In 1972, Griffith established his production company, Andy Griffith Enterprises, affording him greater creative freedom and providing opportunities for other talents behind the scenes. The company produced numerous films, TV shows, and plays featuring Griffith. As early as 1967, Griffith demonstrated his dramatic acting abilities alongside Marlon Brando in the film Thriller in the Heat of the Night. Set in a southern town amid racial tensions, it stood in stark contrast to the idyllic Mayberry. Griffith earned acclaim for his portrayal of a bigoted yet complex small-town sheriff. He continued to diversify his roles, appearing in light-hearted family films like Hearts of the West and taking on more serious characters in TV movies such as Murder in Texas. Fans relished seeing their cherished Andy Griffith in a range of roles. Despite often portraying authority figures, each character was distinct. Notably, after his iconic role as Sheriff Andy Taylor, Griffith became widely recognized as Benjamin Matlock, the witty and determined defense attorney in the popular TV series Matlock, captivating mystery enthusiasts during its run from 1986 to 1995. The series provided a platform for him to showcase his humor and candor in a fresh setting. On the stage, Griffith took on roles in productions like Harvey and Destry Rides Again. Even at 75, he revealed his singing abilities as Captain Hook in a touring musical rendition of Peter Pan. Clearly, Griffith's love for performing led him to embrace challenges across different genres well into his later years. Music served as one of Griffith's earliest creative outlets, and in the 1990s, he returned to those roots. His album, I Love to Tell the Story, 25 timeless hymns, earned a Grammy for Best Southern Country or Bluegrass Gospel Album in 1997. Griffith's profound affection for old-fashioned gospel resonates in soulful hymns that evoke simpler times. From his early monologues to iconic acting roles, and from producing to musical accomplishments, Andy Griffith channeled his creativity in various ways. Although forever associated with Mayberry in the hearts of fans, Griffith transcended the role of Sheriff Andy Taylor. He was a multi-talented performer who left an enduring mark across diverse entertainment genres. At the pinnacle of television stardom, Andy Griffith remained firmly rooted in his wholesome, small-town upbringing. Stardom never eroded his integrity or humility. Forged through a tough childhood, those closest to Griffith describe a man with simple tastes, steering clear of the fast-paced lifestyle. Despite accumulating an estimated net worth of $60 million throughout his prolific career, Griffith avoided opulence and didn't showcase his wealth. Preferring a life away from the superficiality of Hollywood's social scene, he led a modest existence, prioritizing faith, family, and a select few friendships. Seeking refuge from the spotlight, Griffith found solace in his unpretentious home on North Carolina's Roanoke Island. The island's secluded location provided a retreat from the hustle and bustle of Los Angeles, where he filmed his shows. Family and profound connections held paramount importance for Griffith. With 2 children, Samuel Griffith Jr., who tragically passed away in 1996, and daughter Dixie Nan, Griffith maintained a close relationship throughout his life. Griffith left behind a rich legacy that extended far beyond just his 2 most famous television roles. His storytelling brilliance initially surfaced through delightful comedic monologues, and his production company propelled other talents in the entertainment industry. Griffith also achieved success as a gospel singer, securing a Grammy for his uplifting hymns album. Later in life, he diversified his career by starring in various stage productions and films, consistently expanding his skill set. The depth of admiration and mourning that followed Griffith's passing was a testament to his ability to touch millions with his warmth and wisdom. Despite being laid to rest away from the public eye, his values continued to shine brightly in the memories of fans and colleagues, emphasizing the importance of privacy in both life and death. Andy Griffith's decision for an extremely private burial may appear unusual for someone who brought joy to millions in the public arena. However, safeguarding his personal life from the spotlight was a lifelong commitment. In death, just as in life, privacy took precedence over his celebrity status. Those who were close to Griffith depict a man who fiercely protected the sanctity of his off-screen world. Despite being a beloved fixture in American homes, Griffith remained elusive in the limelight, seldom granting interviews about his personal life. At the height of his popularity, he actively sought the freedom to live life at a more relaxed pace, placing paramount importance on family, faith, and a select group of close friendships over the superficial allure of Hollywood. For Griffith, the camera served as a medium for entertainment, not as a tool to bare his soul. Seeking solace and seclusion, he nestled into his rustic home on Roanoke Island, North Carolina, a stark contrast to the hustle and bustle of television sets and studios. On the island, or as locals referred to it, Griffith could unwind and enjoy time with loved ones away from prying eyes. This remote sanctuary allowed Griffith to maintain a clear distinction between his public persona and his authentic self. The boat ride to the mainland served as a deterrent to bothersome paparazzi, and locals respected Griffith's privacy, keeping his refuge a well-guarded secret. Significantly, it was on this island that Griffith drew his final breath at the age of 86. In life, Griffith utilized the island's isolation to keep fame at a distance, and even in death, its seclusion facilitated his swift, private burial beyond the reach of the sensational media spotlight he vehemently detested. No fanfare, no cameras, no reporters, just a handful of trusted friends bearing silent witness. While this might seem unconventional for a beloved celebrity, it perfectly aligns with how Griffith safeguarded his inner world throughout his life. He authored the script for his exit on his own terms, and even in death, Griffith's private nature endures. Ultimately, navigating the intricate balance between public expressions of grief and the intimacy of personal sorrow is a deeply individual journey. Choosing between shared farewells and more secluded resting places holds its own significance. Griffith's decision serves as a reminder that there are diverse ways to pay tribute to a life. In the aftermath of Andy Griffith's passing, his influence endures in American culture, despite the relatively private circumstances of his death. The moral insights embedded in his iconic shows form a lasting legacy. His family inherited and preserves the cherished legacy of shows like The Andy Griffith Show and Matlock, ensuring that syndicated reruns continue introducing new generations to Griffith's enduring warmth and humor. As we remember this beloved icon, people from diverse backgrounds mourned the loss of an American legend. Despite his preference for a modest private burial, Griffith's cultural influence reached across generations. The expressions of affection highlighted his wholesome humor and profound wisdom. Share your thoughts on Andy Griffith and The Andy Griffith Show in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this content, please show your support by liking and subscribing to our channel. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye for now.